Friends, we're back to Monday, a grinding week in the end of energy as far as a fight against ourselves. It's Sirius Joy Alive. It's Monday, January 26th, and it's 2026 as the year as well. Today we're going to talk about important things this week when it comes to choosing your new destiny, IR Corner, and also many, many readings. We'll see you in. If you're watching us on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at SiriusJoytv. Please click like on this video, and if you don't mind, hit the bell button so you're notified so we collectively defeat the algorithm overlords. The Sirius Joy nonlinear TV network is simulcasting right now on many media affiliates, including Instagram, X.com, and Facebook, just to name a few.
Aloha! I'm Mary, and I'm inviting you to experience the mystical world of the tarot with me. As a tree-hugging dirt worshiper, a retired wildlife biologist, and a sprite of the forest, my readings take you into the realms of elemental creativity to unearth a deeper awareness for those big decisions that you have in life. The first 50 viewers to email me with the coupon code below and book a reading will receive 50% off that reading. Can't wait to see what the cards have in store for you. Mahalo nui loa.
At Hair Intelligence, we believe that every strand of hair has its own voice and needs. By combining ancient wisdom with modern biochemistry, we create pure, organic solutions that work in harmony with your hair's natural biology for optimal hair health naturally. By choosing simplicity, sustainability, and science-backed natural solutions, we help our clients transform their hair, whether it's repair, regrowth, or simply radiant, healthy manes they seek.
All of her products have completely changed my hair. I like to call it magic in a bottle. So if there's one thing that she knows, it's hair.
Before using Karen's products, a few years ago, I struggled with various hair challenges, including alopecia, and now I've overcome them, and I've just fallen back in love with my hair.
Get your best hair with clean, organic products that are catered to your hair's unique health and longevity. Get 20% off your first purchase at Hair Intelligence by entering code SiriusJoy20 at checkout. Rediscover your hair's
Hi, everybody. It is Sirius Joy Alive, and it's good to be alive. I have to say, we're coming out of a very difficult and challenging moment. That is our entire life. I'm Christopher Witecki, Sensei to Sirius Joy, and this is our live series. We started yesterday, actually. Started a new schedule, and we like this schedule. We think we're going to sit here just right in the Goldilocks land, but it'll be on Sundays all the way through Thursdays, giving Friday and Saturdays open to public appearances, things like that, and some break time that we will deserve. Everybody on staff deserves some break time. And we'll go live at the same time every day. That's 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Pacific, and be live for 2 hours. And I love it. And this is a great time to get in front of me. Look, I'll be very frank. Number one reason for this show is because I don't get enough readings done out there in the world. I feel like I need to reach more people. I feel like a lot of people have questions and only I can answer. And I'm not going to always be able to do this. So we are opening me up basically to your service and doing readings on the show. But sometimes readings is not enough. We'll also talk about things that we are doing on our own network. We'll talk about what we're seeing as trends. We're just going to talk about anything. It's just time to talk a bit. And that's what I realized, actually, in my little mind mode over the weekend. I've been doing nothing but growing. And for me, because I'm a guy who's based on strength, that means I have to be punched. Like I have to really, I have so much force to keep going that I have to get knocked down a lot of times by my own force, just to get me to shut up and open up and look. And I thought every time I think I'm better at it, I find another part of myself that automatically is trying to protect myself and screwing things up. So it's hard being human. I got to tell you, it's really hard. And we're at this point of graduation, not graduation from being human, but graduation from being novice. And that's really what this next is about, this next era. As we go forward this year, you will not recognize your life this time next year. I promise you. You will not recognize it. You'll look at this moment and you'll go, wow, that's like kindergarten. And that's how I really feel it's going to be. You know, you look at your kindergarten pictures like, wow, that was so weird back then. Back then, you know, it will all be back then. It's fascinating. And we're moving into also another story that we don't have time to get into right now. Sirius Joy is here to help you in transition. That's why one of my main primary missions on the planet was, and I saw it very, very young, honestly, that was planet's going to go through a hard time, and I'm going to be there to help them. Like, you know, ultimately that, and I'm here to help them in that time. And I'm, you know, the thing is that it's when things are going well that I always have problems. You know, but when things are hard for people, I'm my best. And it's been hard to be good for my best to myself. Because when I don't have that, when I don't have the world needing me to show up or whatever, or me creating that need for myself, whatever. But, you know, you learn over time how to get the best out of yourself. And that's what we're going to talk about this year, how to get the best out of ourselves and step into our best. It's not far away at all. And I think the way we've been thinking about it is also an issue. Like, we've just been approaching everything really in the not best way. We'll talk about that too. I also think that this show is going to be sort of an epicenter for talking about the way life could be instead of how life should be. It could be this. Like, we need to start thinking about the third option. And I like to call that the third eye option. There's, you know, there's the left, the right, and there's the third eye. And the third eye is higher and centered. And that is a point of view that accommodates all. So I feel like a third eye view is important as well, you know, and just providing that conversation. When I was younger, I used to watch, I remember I can look back at my childhood and see where I was privately very arrogant in the sense that something would happen or a person would do something, like a celebrity would do something for something nice, you know, as a charity. And in my mind, I'm like, that's all you did. Like, you know, like being kind of snobby and stuff. But now that I'm in the place to help, I'm like, wow, it's a lot to give anything. It really is a lot to give anything and live who you are. It's a lot. It's a lot. And not many people can do it. So anyone who has helped others, you know, I applaud you. You've done a lot. But I also say and speak for us that, you know, now we're in a point where we have to focus on ourselves and we have to move forward to the next level, or you won't be in the same position the next level. Like, we have to level up, you know, I think, and I don't think we're behind. I think we know how to do it. And I think we'll snap our fingers and we'll almost get there. And people are like, oh my God, you're so lucky for you. No, because we helped people grow and learn before we went ourselves, you know, like we were the last person off the boat, so to speak, last person to do it. I'm seeing a little jarble here in my broadcast. So I'm going to take this moment and go commercial if we can, guys. And we'll see what this is about. We'll be right back. Live TV. That's the way it goes. If you're watching us on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at SiriusJoytv. Please click like on this video, and if you don't mind, hit the bell button so you're notified so we collectively defeat the algorithm overlords. The Sirius Joy nonlinear TV network is simulcasting right now on many media affiliates, including Instagram, X.com, and Facebook, just to name a few.
Since 1995, Chi has infused every product with love. Our star is Chi Cream, made with kombucha tea, organic and wild-crafted herbs, and essential oils. Its fresh citrus scent appeals to both men and women. Age gracefully with our rehydrating facial serum. Made with organic sea buckthorn berry extract, giving your face a healthy glow. Your skin will love you. Scan the QR code on your screen now for 20% off with promo code LOL.
All right. Thank you, folks. We had that little switcheroo. It's just something we should know. You know, it's funny. It's amazing that we can broadcast from our homes. I mean, if we could not broadcast from our homes like we can now, we would not be able to bring, you know, a real cool message regularly to you. But the flip side of that is some things are kind of amateur and some things don't work like they're supposed to. And, you know, we have to work through them also. So thank you for your patience. What I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by myself was that this year is an important year and Sirius Joy is here to help you. So first of all, if you'd like to buy a reading, you can go to SiriusJoy SiriusJoy.shop to buy your reading right now. It's 3 different choices, and we bring you on camera, or we bring you just your text on camera, depending on what you purchase. Be serious, guys. Ask a question. Be anonymous. You don't have to tell me who you are. Just give me your situation. Let me feel your vibe, and I will tell you exactly what's going on. I'm good at this. And you give me some hell yeahs in the chat if you're in the chat room. Try to chat if you guys get your questions answered that day, so we can say hi. But also you can be on camera with us of different varieties. And again, like I said, it's, I don't know if you had the pleasure of being in front of someone who knows what they're doing. And when it comes to psychic world, and that's one thing I'm so proud about our whole team. I mean, you get a reading from Kristen, Robbie, you get a reading from Gwen, you get a reading from Dikey. You're getting an accurate reading. Accurate. I mean, it's going to stun you at how accurate this science can be. And to be able to have it at your disposal and to ask things, it's just, we think it's a great gift. Take advantage of it, sort of thing. So with this year, this is a crazy year in the sense of crazy. In moments, you're going to wonder if you're crazy. Some moments, you're going to wonder if the world's crazy. And that, by the way, is Uranus going up through Gemini and just forcing our minds to just break open. And, wherever it's been stubbornly closed to split open. And that's a big part of what this is going to happen this year is just like, holy shit, mind blown kind of moments. I believe, I'm predicting, where even myself, I'm sure, because if I had thought about it or predicted it, I would talk about it already. I know about it already. I started talking about it. And these things I think we can sense as mystics, but we can't see. And it's so different. And as I was saying that before the break, it's like, to me, it's another lifetime. I realize we're getting another lifetime. We're actually stacking what would normally be just one life. We're putting 2 entire lives in it. I really feel. And this next one is accelerated, but I also think this next one has the ability to, increase age. I think a lot of people who are players in this next act can stay for a long time because I think advances in medicine are going to be off the hook. And that's one of the big holy moly moments I think we have in the next decade is aging's done. We don't need to age anymore. We realized it was, I personally feel like psychically it's a genetic disease the human race doesn't even know they have. Like something that's just kind of clobbered onto us and made us, age. Like like some sort of bacteria on our DNA, what I mean? Like, but I feel like we're going to cure it. I feel like we're going to, reverse is the word I think to use. But things like that, I think, are going to be fascinating. And I want to talk more about that. So that's what I was saying at the very beginning of the show. I have this great ability to actually keep track in my mind of what I want to talk about, even though things change. And the big picture was that this show, I think this show is here to talk about things that I'm not seeing anybody talk about. I'm not seeing anyone talk about anywhere. And that's what I've been kind of pushing myself, but I got so locked into an astrology format that people depended on. It keeps you from being able to say the things you want to say for a long time. And you don't want to do it inappropriately and, without thought ahead of time. So it works itself out. But we happen to be in a place, I believe, where it's time to start to wake up as humans. And when I say that, I don't mean that in a like, wake up, I think of it as like hey guys, like that kind of wake up, like something's going wrong here. I think, we were drifting off in the party. Something has gone awry. And that's the truth. In society, it's not that we're at a crisis point. It's that we always have been. Always. And our lives have always been just too fragile and really not well protected or looked after. And we're very smart. We know how to do it and we're not doing it. We're not doing the basics. And we ought to be doing the basics with straight A's on the planet. And I know the people I know, we would get it done. So I think we're at this point where it's time to get kind of serious and joyful and laugh along the way. So I think we have a reading starting. Do we? Bring the first one? Oh no, can't get to the chat. Hello everyone in chat, by the way. Here it is, Aaron. So we'll do a little teaching as we go down the path too of this. Sun in Virgo in the 5th house at, I guess, step 28. No, that's step 22, it's rising. So, well, what is the sun's step number, I guess? 10, then we go 28. Yeah, what's the sun's step number? But it's a 28 degree Taurus rising, Grandmaster degree of rising, and 10 Aqua moon. See all the 10s in this chart already? That's manifestation in the 9th house. So the moon is going to basically manifest knowledge this lifetime. And a 4 Chiron in the 11th house. That's tough. With Saturn, just kidding. With Saturn up to almost at 0 Aries. Right. Okay, so question 2. Question 1. Let me read the first part, please. I'm sorry. I went ahead. That's my bad. Wish I had controls right here. There we go. Nice. What can I expect? I'm 56 years old and I've already been through my Chiron return. Flip page, please. I have my moon and midheaven at 10 Aquarius in the 9th house. How will this transiting Pluto affect me in this year? Well, very good question, actually. So ultimately, and what was the rising degree number? It was 28 Taurus rising, and she's got 10, right? Step 10 is where the issue is. Next page, please. We're gonna have to change this format because I can't read all of it at once. Gotcha. I was trying to do so. Moon at 10 Aquarius in the 9th house. Yeah, so it's at 18, basically 18, and so that means that your moon and midheaven are at 18 degrees within the 9th house, and so what that means, and you of course have all this 10 energy, and we showed the 10 energy prior to this question coming up. 10 being that you are a person who can love, step 1, and hold space. 0, like hold space for a greater tomorrow, or a greater today. In fact, that's how you do it. The greater today becomes the greater tomorrow. So you make it greater today, and tomorrow will come as just as great or greater. That's a good quote for me. So that said, that's what you're here to do. Now, because of the 10-degree aqua moon, you have dormant past life emotions that have not awakened. So you have basically sleeping memories that will come to the surface as Pluto gets closer to that 10. When Pluto hits step 8 out of step 10, you will have thawed out, I would say, those memories, which means that you'll be remembering basically, for and foremost, your ability to be whoever you wanted to be in that lifetime. So you have this ability to be whoever you want to be. Now, that may sound like something everyone has, but it's not. First of all, people don't know what they want to be. They don't know who they are, and they sure as hell don't know what they want to be. So you happen to have this talent that the world really needs because they don't understand how to be who they want to be. And that is the core of freedom. That's the core of independence. And honestly, when it came to the Atlantis time, that be who you want to be, they were talking about amongst aliens. Amongst aliens, you be who you want to be. There wasn't just amongst, other tribes on Earth or animals on Earth. It was a galactic understanding of that. That said, what you're still doing is remembering what you used to know. Okay, so you're basically right now remembering what you used to know. So you might be attracted this year to all sorts of different things, like underwater basket weaving and goddess temple singing, things like that. Things that are just like off the wall, strange, that seem they don't go together. And the truth is that they're either an act that you actually literally did, and that you're remembering and you're starting to get back into it again, or it's an act that will awaken a talent that you have. So sometimes it's not directly the talent, but it awakens the talent. So it depends on how many steps it takes. And your mastery of self is loving and trusting who you are and allowing yourself to reinvent yourself. So it's a good, cool time. Ultimately, that belief in yourself, what you believe about yourself and the best self that can come forward, that part of you turns into some sort of knowledge that you'll probably publish. So you're probably going to publish the knowledge of like, here's how to be the best you or the best me as remembered in Atlantis. Exactly. And the Virgo sun in the 5th house. Oh, 28 Virgo there. It's right there in front of my eyes. Or was added, I guess now. Wow, that's crazy. 28. Look at the 28s. Look at this person, guys. This is step astrology in its best. Like step 28 sun of Virgo, 28 next to a 10. That's Grandmaster 10 of Virgo of what things become. So it's a person who can manifest what things become. This is a person who's a wizard in the 5th house, meaning that you've come to manifest what your personal heartstrings are and nothing else. So you're like in your last lifetime, you're like, step back. I'm just doing me. And that's what you're doing. And then the 20-degree Taurus rising. Now 28 is ruled by Taurus. So that number is a Taurus number in the sign of Taurus on a rising, which means it's a past life grandmaster ability of manifesting that you're bringing back to the table. You're like, oh, you were already a grand manifester before. And so now you've obviously come with a mission, with your memories in total tact. And with that 20-degree Virgo sun, your heart is going to express all of its desires. But recognize the twos in all this. It's about emotion. And your moon, which is a 10 aqua moon, is still asleep, half asleep, and is waking up. So your emotional capacity, who you are, is just awakening, kind of thawing out. Yeah, interesting. So I guess the question was, what you can expect. What you're expecting is you're going to believe in yourself in a way. You may already believe in yourself, but it's unbelievable. And so it's too unbelievable to be true. And so you're not letting yourself go with it. And you have to believe in yourself, but you don't have to blindly believe in yourself. The blindness of it is because you're awakening it very deep and a very subtle frequency that requires listening on a deep, quiet level to interpret. And so you're kind of calming down from 3D to speed up to 5D, ironically, and be able to tune into those faster frequencies of what's happening right now. When Pluto hits that area of your chart, your mission will be full on. So you'll be in full mission when Pluto is conjoining that north node. At that point, it's on. It's completely on 100%. Thanks for the question. It's brilliant. So another. I was saying this last week too. It's like notice how all the masters are, mostly masters. Not that masters are better than people who are proficient or better than people who are beginners. It's just these are the leaders. And so the leaders are coming out on this show a lot and asking questions, which I'm glad, because I want to help you. You know what I mean? Like, make sure you win. It's not even win, it's make sure you win. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But thank you for coming. And look at this again, the net 10. So we got a step 25 Virgo sun. That's a master Virgo sun, and master for two reasons. One, it's a net 7. So this person Nancy has completed both the spiritual and the I manifest or I materialize. Her soul can both materialize and connect to spirit at the same time. This was, what Christ did, I think, or actually what Yeshua did, channeling the Christ, was this kind of configuration where you have like a very high 25, where you have a high 7 in the 12. I mean, you have a high 7 in the 11, and you have a high 11 in the 7. And when you do that, you basically create like a paradox. If you have the opposites on each side and they oppose, it's sort of like allows the spirit to open up and like download stuff. And then, what downloads is like, look at 19 moon rising. So it's like 19 cap rising, excuse me. So that's in that 10, another manifestor. Different type of manifestor who's a go-getter and willing to run a race, like literally run their ass off to get it done. And then 19 Gemini moon, same thing, going to manifest a whole lot of language around it, right? Like, so you're kind of cool. They're very cool, actually. I'm reading the question. How to embody fun as a realtor in a professional capacity, minus the feeling I am being perceived as a Virgo. A Virgo? Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. About the Virgo. That's a good term. There's a t-shirt, girl. You know what I mean? All right. So first of all, the 25 degrees Virgo sun that you have that because you were a nun, like a high level nun is what it feels like. High female matriarch, a leader in a past life who spiritually has a lot of, you still have a lot of the Christian, kind of, judgment inside of you that you carried from that lifetime, and you haven't necessarily just gone in there and cut away what we've learned, at least from a culture, and you subconsciously have an allegiance to that because it's tied to your own self-forgiveness. So the truth of the matter is that the higher you go up in spiritual, the higher people go up in power, the more difficult it is to forgive yourself for everything because you're bigger and there's more of you to forgive, and so because everything leads to everything. And so it's just a bigger bite of food, if you're going to be a bigger broadcaster of light. That said, this is a case where I think great example, Nancy, because a lot of times our subconscious memories are actually haunting us, and we're upset about something. We don't know what. We're upset about something. We're not sure why. And what it is that our soul's upset about that time when we were a nun and you know what I mean? Like, and our soul hasn't calmed down about it. It's like it's like an innocent child that's like excited to go somewhere, but excited to find out, well, what happens in the story, mommy? What happens in the story? That's like the nag of karma. Karma is just like nagging at you to figure it out. And so in the Virgo, it's like super hyper aware. So I'd say you've come through a lot of stages. You want to be a fun realtor, but I'm sure when this whole journey started, you were a bear. You were a bear on the inside, but you were being all nice on the outside, and you've come closer to your authenticity, I think, over the years. So you should be proud of. The fact that you want to have fun tells me you're on the right, you're pointing in the right direction, because that will at 100% is going to bring you all of your fortune is the fun. Who doesn't like the fun one? And I'm not saying try to be fun for everyone. I'm saying you have fun. If an individual has fun themselves, then people either do or don't. But the party starts, you know what I mean? Like the people who are being bummers leave or whatever. It's not even about that. It's about, sometimes people aren't ready. They're tired. They need space, but you can instigate fun and you instigate change. And, but you're being perceived as a Virgo ho. I feel like what's here, here's the thing. It goes back to that step 25. A 25-degree sun will only open up to their power when their mind is only focused on how they feel. So when your mind is only focused on how you feel, not focused on, am I being perceived as a Virgo ho? Not worried about being fun enough. Like that's not the focus. The focus of the performance is being mindful of your feelings. Because when you're mindful of your feelings, you go into a trance with yourself. and you begin to allow your deepest self to drive. And when you allow your deeper self to drive, you allow yourself that's closest to a spirit drive. And so just allowing that to drive through you, which is ironically, when we drive, our spirit might be the one driving. We just kind of like, oh, I got home. It's like, how'd that happen? I think we're driving our spirits most of the time. Sorry, Nancy, to go off on yours, but I promise you I'll pack it with stuff. But the truth is, because we're riding from that subconscious, we're letting that subconscious drive us. And so, of course, that's also what leads to violence and all sorts of bad things, is letting our subconscious drive us, right? Now, but at the master level, masters who are 20 degrees to 29, you're facing massive master issues, and hurting another human being is very beginner level, right? So hurting another human being is something we do when we're young on the earth, and we're dumb on the earth, and we don't realize that that's going to come back and hurt us. When you're at the 29s, you are working on really a maestro performance. You're trying to pull off the performance of a multi-lifetime. And this looks like this lifetime might be it for you. So, I mean, when I say it, I mean the one you're going to pull off something really cool. And for that reason, surrender to your intuition, because the world's about to change. If you can just be yourself and go with the flow, you're going to probably respond so beautifully to it that you're going to find yourself in a position where you can help people in a big way. And then the question is who do you want to help? So I think you're in a good position. You just have to be compassionate to yourself. The magic words are, it's okay. It's like, I look so stupid in that segment. It's okay. You just immediately take the power out of the sting and go, it's okay. You just pardon everything like a king or queen. And just say, I'm pardoning because I'm the king and queen of my life. And so it's not going to hit this office. That's to say you don't take responsibility for your problems. It means that you don't take responsibility for things you don't have the power to change. And here we go. How about a question or two? We're answering your questions. This is a fun show, and we're starting to warm up here. I'm starting to warm up. I have to give myself props that we can come on the air when I'm feeling this way. But I also know, hey, we just got to share who we are and let everyone know how, the realness of life. And sometimes it's just, sometimes it's just not fun. It's just all serious. We're going to bring them together. I think it's time for a commercial. When we come back, more readings. So stay tuned. If you're watching us on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at SiriusJoytv. Please click like on this video, and if you don't mind, hit the bell button so you're notified, so we collectively defeat the algorithm overlords. The Sirius Joy nonlinear TV network is simulcasting right now on many media affiliates, including Instagram, X.com, and Facebook, just to name a few. Yeah, I mean, I had my biggest event of the year is the Countdown 2026. And so I just had this last weekend, and I slid into home and slept for a day. And I'm finally past my biggest hurdle, but that was the last thing on my schedule that was crazy scheduled. That event, and just not with enough time and preparation. So for me, I feel like $1 million, even though I have a ton of stuff to do. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to schedule this year to be sane and just, focus on quality of life and then what's possible. Because I know how to do it now. I feel like I know how to do it after my 20th year. And this is my 20th year anniversary, dude. I'm 20 years. But
be on YouTube
on step 28. I mean, this year the new moon is at my 20th anniversary of being on the internet doing horoscopes.
Be more astrology.
No, there I am. I'm still watching myself. Hi guys, welcome to Monday. Does it feel like a Monday to you? It didn't feel like a normal weekend at all to me. I had space-time stuff going on the whole weekend where I did not know, what day it was. Of course, I started this thing where I started to take time off on Friday. So that really messed me up because it felt like a Saturday. And you can imagine the rest. But it's been a fun time. We're coming into our power. That was, if you don't know, LOL. That's the show that comes on with Scott and myself. We tape it on Wednesdays. We do live tape in front of our Sirius Joy subscriber base. private base, and then we release on Saturday night. And I've been just talking about how we've been talking about this year, how hard the year has been, and what we've faced and the energies we've seen, et cetera, et cetera. It's really interesting as we come back from, we came back from New Year's. We have this beginning of the show, we do headlines. Now, here's the thing. People have said to us, why do you have to do headlines and the news and politics? And it's like, first of all, that's the first time I've looked at it the whole week. I don't even look at this stuff until that time. I don't know. I would literally show up like, will that happen? No shit. And that's a focus that I think is healthy. Although I feel like I need to get more. It's like, find that balance of what, dipping your feet in. Oh, and we're back. Hi. Thanks to the props guys. I don't know what's happening there. But nonetheless, it's nice to be here in the new world and feel like we have a new lifetime coming. That's what I feel like. I feel like we honestly have a new whole life coming. And that's not denial. By no means. It took years and years of removing denial, actually, to come to that truth. And you can't believe it when it comes to it because, at least me, believe it or not, I'm a positive person, but that's also because it looked bad. It looked really bad, like as far as the evidence, to the point where you don't want to ever consider all of it at the same time because you don't want to bum yourself out. At least I don't. You have to manage your tone and make sure let yourself get sad over things that you can't change, but rather just be that change you want to see in the world, right? In your moment, in who you are. So it's been all that. But finally, I've seen since Capricorn and the new moon in Capricorn. I mean, I had an epiphany last week on Thursday or Friday, and it was like I had such a huge, deep wound come up and finally come out to heal. Like it literally was like you had an infection inside you for a whole life, and it just finally came up, and you're like, "Jeez!" Right? For that thing to start to heal, it was a huge, lot of release, a lot of crying, let's just like couldn't believe it. But you could feel it. And I want to say that it's like you can feel when you finally let go of whatever the heavy thing is you were carrying. You can feel that so well, and you can't believe how much your own energy was going to this parasite of worry, of whatever, worried about something that was not really a worry, except that you were worrying about it. That's karma to me. It's not really a worry, but you keep worrying about it. So now it is. It's our emotional reaction. We can't, we don't know how to calm ourselves down, that we didn't realize that what we're upset about. And it's really hard to get there to understanding what that is until, unless you have some time off. But what we have to learn is to be thinking about ourselves all the time. And if we focus on ourselves and how we're running and how this feels today, and, how do I feel this day versus that day, you'll be surprised. You'll show up to your life much more aware of their other people's needs than you were before. And that's because you understand yourself more. And by seeing into yourself, you can see just as equally into the other person. So it does us only a service to look inside of ourselves and to question, how's this working? How's this ticking? Why doesn't this work? Because one thing's for certain, you can get you can take an average Joe or an average Jane, and you can make that into anything you want it to be, actually, if you just focus on yourself and love yourself along the way. You can do it. You just have to love yourself. And that's the thing we're talking about all year, loving ourselves. By the way, that class on Sundays is going amazing. We have a class called Mastering Self-Love. And what we're doing is practices every Sundays where we practice areas of self-love that people suck at. I mean, where we suck at personally, and that's due to our charts. So we look at our charts, we look at things in our charts, and like, okay, here's a clue, right? Here's a clue, something to dig in on. But where we are experientially not sophisticated with loving ourselves in that moment. So it's like, when this happens to you, how good are you at loving yourself? It's like 0. I have no clue what to do. For me, I mean, most of my failures to love myself are because I was hit completely off guard. Like I just had no idea I was sensitive there, had no idea people had crossed lines there before. I was just somewhere else, the rest of my life, until one day I realized, whoa, that is a painful thing. You know what I mean? Like, and that's due to the fact that I hadn't loved myself before. So it's just a complete wake up call for me in some cases. And I think it's because I'm a performer and I'm just like, I go into the performance and I enjoy being in that world, which is not real, which is a moment of a performance, being inside myself like an athlete. So long story short, we have to start paying attention to ourselves and just start watching yourself. So start watching yourself. That's why SiriusJoy.com is there, by the way. It's a daily service that text messages you through the day and just keeps reminding you what to focus on. We're not you'll see for yourself. We're saying we feel you're here, and you'll be like, wow. And that's what it is. It's kind of like a check-in, where people have one-on-one, they see numbers, they see their favorite license plates, they see different things that are symbols. Sirius Joy sends you signals every day. Signal, not the noise. You get straight to the point, and here's what's going on, and it starts to feel of a comfort. That's why we built it, was because you need to be encouraged a lot, and you need to be reminded to be encouraged a lot, because you forget. Like everyone forgets. And I knew if we had a tool that's just like, come on, we can do this, I think it would help us. And I know it helps us. I mean, most people within the first month say they have changed they feel totally different in their hearts. And that's because they're just paying attention to themselves, and they're watching the rhythm, and they're with people who understand, who like won't judge them. That's the other thing. It's like, you got to be in peer groups that don't judge you and just let you be who you are. It's not easy. It's also something we have to learn. It's tolerance with each other. But Sirius Joy, this is a place where you can come and hang out and just check in once a day. Also, we'll send the messages to you, SiriusJoy.com. Now, last thing I'll say, and this is self-promotion, but it's also news, is that we are going to be starting to put into intelligence, divine intelligence, next to the horoscopes. And what this will happen is on the mothership. So at SiriusJoy.com, we're going to have a public viewing now, where we'll have 12 different, stations, if you will, based on the sign. But these are video stations. These are actually ways to get to feed information that's good for your astrology sign. So beyond your horoscope and your updates you get every week, you have other cool things that we offer that just teach you about you, and teach you about you in the time you need to know about you. And that's all I'll say at this point, but it's going to be fun. But if you watch your horoscope there, and we have our soul horoscopes out on Sundays now, watch your horoscope there, and you're registered, free registered, that's it. You'll see information about yourself in your chart that's relevant to what I'm talking about. So I'm going to be able to basically be on screen and say, see here in your chart, this is why it's an issue. And it's kind of a way of just, bringing in modern TV with education. So if you haven't already, register with us. You just come down, fill out your date of birth information, and right when it says subscribe, you say, wait, that's fine. And we'll be emailing you, and then you'll join when you feel like it. In the meantime, you will get free information about yourself that we call My Vibe, and it's going to be helping you to understand who you are. All right, let's get to a reading. That's enough sales. Sybil, step 23, Pisces. So that's a Pisces with a vision. 0 Virgo. Wow, that's crazy. 0 Virgo rising sign, degree rising sign. Step 0. So, and then a moon at 3 degrees Cancer. Ultimately, I'll just say about this personality right here, just the configuration. The heart has got a message to say. It's step 23 Pisces, and it's a spiritual message. And so you're here to be a messenger. You're here to be a visionary. You have a vision. You have a vision for a new spirituality. 0 degree Virgo means you can actually make that new spirituality real, because Virgo is the I become, making real of what we are imagining. And so you become what it is that you are thinking and seeing, and you become that character. And then the moon at 3 Cancer is basically, you're always exploring what you believe about your feelings and what you believe about yourself because of your feelings. And so you've got this kind of library of past life emotional memories that you tune into, and you just pull up this past life emotional memory of when you were married to the sailor, or this past life emotional memory of when you believed you were, you could fly or whatever, and you pull that up, and ultimately it's some sort of a guiding force of how you look up your experiences. So you're like a spiritually brilliantly crafted here athlete. So what's the story? It's been a hectic week of costly mistakes due to my poor time management, and distractions, triggering my inner critic and old wounds of self-shaming. How might this current energetics help me to transmute these wounds and triggers? Well, Miss Pisces, I'll tell you right now, with Saturn and Neptune and going into Aries, this is a complete makeover of your self-worth. So your self-worth is based on, no offense, crap. And when I say that, I mean all of your past lives and karma. So everything you've lived up until now is what you've built your credit on. It turns out you can build credit in different ways. You can build credit by just saying, I'm going to do this, and then you do it. And I'm sure you built some credit that way. But my point is, the entire Pisces race, because of the nature of who they are, being spiritually connected, have kind of like reverse lifetimes. You basically started with you started dealing with your karma at the very beginning lifetime, and now you're completely done with your karma, and you're actually starting out as a baby and brand new at the end of your lifetimes, right? So in your eon, you're like rebirthing yourself as a child. And this child for you has to do with what you're worth. And what you are worth is what you will do. You have Aries ruling the second house. So all Pisces will basically, energetically, they get their activities tied to their doing, because they are literally spirit emotion. And so you have to put into motion your spiritual philosophies, and this is what stirs it up. By the way, that action 9 is in Taurus, the house of 10. So it's really you're a 7, and then between the two, it's 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 10. You can manifest really fast things that you want, and Pisces do. Now that said, everything you had the hectic week of costly mistakes. This costly mistakes I'm seeing everywhere, including myself. And part of it is that we are burning off the bad money. So it's like you're getting rid of the low vibrational money because it came through, maybe it came through like strife, maybe it came through an accident settlement, that was still tied to the memory. But there's like a lot of just dirty money, that we have, in the bank. That it's not that, right or wrong. It's that there's just icky feelings tied to that money. And so a lot of people are getting rid of that money and sort of reinvesting it, recycling it, that type of thing. Some people are getting rid of it in the sense they're paying things off, or they're having unnecessary, fines and things, or they're just like tripping down the wrong lane when it comes to business or something. But in a weird way, that's necessary. It's also at the same time, it's a final test. And so, you have to know. Step 23 has to know. I have to know it's going to be okay. Now, knowing it's going to be okay is that you feel step 2 and believe it. Step 3, that's how come because you feel and believe it. It adds to a 5. So you hang out in the mind looking for the evidence, but the evidence is what you feel and what you believe. The evidence is underground. It's not in sight. But when you understand the underground sources of it, your feelings and your beliefs, then when your mind sees, it will know, and you will know what you see. So you're basically trying to build inner credibility emotionally with yourself. And I think that's part of what your, new value is going to be. But this is the time for Pisces to do it. Uranus in Gemini means that you guys have got to think much bigger and much larger when it comes to managing your emotions and your needs. You need like super nurturing. You need like supercomputer AI nurturing, where it's like you're being cared for, like 65 hands are caring for you and just patting you to bed and just, helping you feel better, because you have not really thought well enough about how it is you need to feel. And that's why you find yourself just so sensitively, thrown onto the streets, is because that's what your mind did. But Gemini in the 4th house, you just was like cold decision, put yourself out there in a situation that felt bad. So the wounds of self-shaming and all this stuff, everyone's being pushed with their self-shaming and their dark stuff now more than ever, because it's like you are the only reason it's still happening. The universe doesn't want you to do it. Like no one is encouraging you to do it. It's a habit everyone has with hurting themselves. And it's a very subtle habit. And it's like, you just got to find a way inside yourself to go, this doesn't work anymore. I must try something else. I tried shaming for, blah, blah, years, and we're not any different. So statistically, math-wise, science, no, cannot do it anymore, because I've tried it. It does not work. And if anything, let science and reason put its foot down and be like, no, but you have to, draw that line. And that's a boundary issue. And that's where that's where masters have boundary issues, because masters want to push the boundaries of everything. Like the world, it can all be a better place. That's saying, I'm going to push your boundaries out of the way. Well, part of the reason pushing your boundaries out of the way is because you yourself, feel bounded by your own boundaries, and you want freedom from your own boundaries. And you're using the world to try to get your freedom, when really it's right there underneath you. We're the ones that bound ourselves by these ideas. So I think that's where you are in the sense of moving forward. And can I get the question one more time? It came down, but I think I've said it as far as the energies and energetics helping transmute. I mean, what's happening is, the question is, how can the energies, you have to live a life now. I mean, Pisces, you've got to connect to spirit. You've got to connect to spirit yourself. Aquarius for you is, connecting to spirit. And that means you have to connect to yourself, because you are the conduit. You have to get into yourself, and then yourself gets into spirit, so both layers have to kind of just relax and go into yourself. Ironically, Pisces have been disconnected from God this whole time. I mean, in the construction of what you will be, you'll have a crystal connection when this Aquarius season is complete and Pluto moves through your 12th house. You'll have a crystal connection. That means I feel like there'll be no interruption whatsoever. I believe that the entire Earth is going to have crystal connection to the other side, meaning you can call your grandma through just a local psychic. and just have a one-on-one right there. It's happening already. I see friends doing it. So the point is, there's a lot of cool stuff ahead for you, and Pisces have to take it to the next level. But to get there, you've got to really learn that you have to be baby your feelings, and you have to use your feelings more than your mind to navigate. That's it for now. Thanks, Sybil. That was a great question. Brilliant. Where are we? Talk to me, people. All right. Lillian. Ooh, look at 9 Aries. Ooh, Grandmaster Aries. 24 Virgo rising. Well, look at see, you guys see the patterns already? I'm just going to say it again. I can be annoying sensei. Here we go. See the same numbers coming up. That's step system. That is, it's right in front of our eyes and we don't ever see it. I'm just like, but what this is a nice blend you are. Lillian, I think you're spiritually, energetically beautiful. Look at 9 Aries is a Grandmaster Aries. I think it's a woman. So it's a woman who's a Grandmaster man. I love this. And then 24 Virgo rising means 24 is a master woman. So then this divine feminine rising with Virgo, like goddess kind of like, carrying energy. And then 24 Gemini moon, that goddess energy falls through her poetry, the way she speaks, the way she communicates, and basically can surrender with a gentle push, right? Surrender with a gentle push. And here it is. I have so many plans in the 12th house. There's the surrender. And 2012, August, September, I hurt my knee badly. And then again in 2024, it so sucks. Or actually it says so sucks. It triggered me in the fear and literally could not walk for 3 months again. All right. So you know what that, you don't know. That's what you're asking. First of all the stuff in the 12th house is past life memories. And so you came loaded with past life memories. Like it's like you came with a hard drive, but when you launch the computer, you don't see any files on it, but the hard drive's full. You're like, where's the stuff? It's like in the subconscious, it's buried on your hard drives. And obviously, with being an Aries sun now, Aries, what you were doing is you were pioneering spirituality in a different way, because Aries 9 degrees is like the most ego it is, period. That is the purebred, like soldier. So like you're going to create like a stormtrooper, you'd use 9 Aries on Earth. Like that's the soldier, the soldier of Earth. And that soldier has been growing in strength and redefining strength all along. But it's in a way kind of a young man. It's the fool's card is a young man inside of your heart of being a woman, I'm assuming. And so, which is fascinating because this is the time where we are merging where we're learning to use both sides of our gender information. Everybody has both gender informations inside them. If you don't know the other side, it's because you forgot it. But you were it. Everyone has been both. So now you see these blends in these modern people and incarnations where they're masterfully blending all these kind of energies into the real nice, comfortable balance. And that's the polishing of themselves. But 24 rising and moon also is a smoothing agent. So my point being is this: you are here to ultimately connect to the world, right? So you have to feel like you belong with the world. And when you feel like you belong with the world, that's your perspective. If I just find where I belong, everything will be perfect. But the reality is that your heart is going to perform what you want. So the Sun 9 Aries Sun is like, I'll just play the character you need me to play. And that character will then send out a vibe that brings in an attraction of that type of people that are attracted to that character. So yours is like a very dynamic actress energy. And that 12th house is very much tied to like what you spiritually are here to share. Like everything you remember about yourself as it comes out of like a deep sleep, you're gonna probably want to share that stuff. And so that's kind of I think the setup. The hurt knee is because you're being inflexible. You are being too stubborn. I understand that, but ironically, you're not even on the earth yet. You're up in this 12th house. So it's like I don't know if you can be damaged in that pillow space. Not too much to worry about. The reason why you're reluctant probably is there's not good boundaries. You have to kind of like, make your red carpets and you have to make your zones and just walk through on your red carpets and walk through life in the areas that are just, you understand where the rules are and you make the rules. And if you do that, you'll thinking of the Pope in the bubble car, you'll be fine. And I think a lot of this too is just, which feels like probably a star seed. So probably from another planet before this. I mean, everyone is, but recently, in the last like 5 lifetimes. And so Earth itself is you're a little nervous about it. Hope that answers your question. Yeah, that wasn't a question. That's kind of right. Very alien. Just kidding. Do we have another on screener? Okay, Alice 21 Gemini. Yay! Step 21 starts to get fun. So look again. Here's our themes, guys. It's 21 Sun and 12 Virgo, the 1s and the 2s, and then the 5s. It's communicator, person who's an educator, a student, a communicator, lives in their heart, and Aries rising. That's full, but a mindful Aries rising. That's like a 5-degree Aries rising. Is sort of like the front row of a football team where they're like ready to like slam into the next football team like head on and not care every time. Like that's a 5 Aries. They're gonna like ram you kind of with some ideas. Do you see any indications of positive developments in my love life and or career? Well, do I see any indications? Well, okay, let's be clean on this one. Like, there's a psychic side and there's a astrology side. The astrology side says this is the construction of the energy. It has this branch, and it branches this direction, and it goes this far south, and it loops around this energy. So astrology is like this map of the weather and how it's going to play out. Then we have the individual, which is your 21 sun and your 12, and these different choices you make as an individual. And we can kind of see like, okay, given the weather, this is probably where things are going to go. But you asked any indication of positive developments, meaning like I see evidence of. And so the only way I would see evidence of, in my opinion, would be a psychic vision of seeing something. And I haven't asked yet, so let me ask. But that said, Aries rising and the moon. So Aries rising is always nice because it's easy to do the math. So yes, I mean, what you're waiting on, of course, or not, of course, is actually your emotional maturity. So the twos, all the twos in these equations is what we're waiting on. And we say waiting, you waiting, right? Like, why are things happening? You have to process these feelings, certain feelings. You don't get out of it. No one gets out of it. Jupiter's in your 4th house right now. So you are expanding your emotional awareness around your emotional maturity. And emotional maturity sometimes is stuff like, where you're like, oh my God, like you're upset inside. And someone comes to you and goes, everyone does that. And it's just like, oh, everyone? I thought I was being picked on. It's like, nope. Turns out we all go through that shit. And so that's maturing because you were alone, but then you weren't. And once you realize you weren't, it's like there's this leap in your ability to just go, oh wow, I'll be okay. And it's scary and it's not fun, but it's really just kind of like karmic burping, like we do. So you've got some more burping to do, and laying some stuff up. Positive developments in my love life and her career. I have to just say it. I mean, I have to say it because it has to be said. It's like, you are not really loving yourself like you could. And I know that because Jupiter has not gone into your 5th. And so that's what's going to happen next. This summer, when Jupiter goes in Leo, to hit you in the 5th house, that means it's been 12 years since you've drinking from the nectar, 12 years since you've dreamed. And so you have not fed the dreamer part of you very much. I think your Gemini has like worn you down, and your Virgo moon has worn you down with criticism and like analytics and like everything going wrong and the temperature of the engine and all this data. But meanwhile, the little girls in the corner crying, so that's the issue. And it's like, why is she crying, honey? Why are you crying? Like that's what's not being done. You're not going to yourself and asking yourself, why you're not, why are you crying, honey? Like, why going to yourself, the child is part of yourself, and going, why, what's the matter? That's actually what it wanted more than anything. That part of you wanted to be seen by the other part of you. And that's what a lot of awareness is, and ascension is. It's like, oh, I never let this part of me see this part of me. Like you just didn't, because fear of things mixing, fear of things, just because you're bringing up two memories you don't want at the same time. So positive comes down to how positive you are to yourself. So your response to yourself has got to be like you are rescuing yourself like a fairy godmother. You got to think of yourself as a fairy godmother, and you show up to that little girl and you're like, zippity bobbity girl, you need some shoes. You need this, you need that. You just like do that to yourself and be that to yourself, and be creative and be fun and be wacky, and become a little girl again with your self. And that's what you're dying for. And once you have that, believe it or not, then you'll start like equating it up to like all your adult stuff. But you probably a damaged childhood, in the sense of, your childhood was rudely interrupted. And so it wasn't safe. And so you couldn't play. And so go back to the age of when you stopped playing, and you'll get to where the damage was. And, you're basically picking it up from there. And let your 5-year-old be a 5-year-old, let your 6-year-old be a 6-year-old, and they can go back and forth. You can be like the teenager that wants to go out tonight and you're pissed you don't have any good clothes, to always like 2-year-old wanting ice cream and staying in the couch because you want ice cream. Finally, you just picked out an ice cream, but you're allowing your inner child to just be. That's the issue. So yes, I see positive developments if you get a nice babysitter. If you get a good babysitter. All right. General question. Can you talk more about the entire world is trying to assert its power right now? Oh, how the entire world? Yes, that's very interesting. Calvin, thank you for the question. We're changing the definition of what power is part of the big thing. That's what Pluto and Capricorn has been. Pluto and Capricorn was like industrial, honestly, Pluto and Capricorn and Pluto Aquarius is pretty much all we remember. And, but Pluto and Sag and other things, they represent different times. But Capricorn was, industrialization. Industrialization is, where we are as far as power is concerned. And that comes down to, using lots of labor, at first to do big things that build machines. And those machines will build machines. And eventually the machines will invent the other machines. And that's where we're at, where we by pushing and just, crazy costs, people's lives, disease, damage, all this shit, we became modern. Okay, so the world is, the definition of power itself is based on this old way of modern and this old way of being this titan and this old way of being a titan over each other. And so what you're seeing here is the very end of the titans, where everyone is oh, I am the biggest. No, I am. And I think every character on the stage, Donald Trump included, is a character. I think we have to look at these people as characters in a movie and go, what the fuck? What is this? What are we watching? And really just look at it and stop pretending like you're in the movie, because you're not. You're not in their movie. So I don't know why, I don't know why we're worried that we're getting all hurt about the movie. You're in a movie, chill out. It's cool. You're in a movie. And we are in a movie, I think, at the end of the day. Look at it like a movie. And you'll see that every one of these things going for power is sort of giving this example of here's how we once did it, and here's how we once did it. And we're seeing all the here's how we, it's, they don't realize it's how you once did it. I don't know if they realize this is the last time you're doing this. And I do feel like this is the last time we're doing this. And I mean the last time. Now, we've been told all this time, it's the last time we're going to die, as if we're going to die. Or it's the last time. This ain't going down the more. No, it's the last time. We have to take on our own power, how we interpret those words, and I say it's the fucking last time, y'all, we've told you enough, us humans and the rest of us, and we're done. We're really done with this stuff. You're just bumming us out, man. And we think we'd be better with you if you left, left the party. And I think that's the sort of rude, please get up and get your things that humans have to do. And I'm talking about on a spiritual level, not a human level, spiritual level. Hey, spirits that want to be mean, get out of here. Get out of here. Energetically, and that's not mean by us, right? So we're learning what real power is, and we're learning what real power is because power is changing. So when Pluto goes from Aquarius, to Capricorn to Aquarius, it's almost like we go from steam generating electricity to nuclear, and now we're getting power from pissing off atoms, and now we're going to piss off the atoms, which gets the power. And then the atoms are pissed off, and they make heat, and all this stuff. But it turns out pissed off atoms are always pissed off for a long time. And so that's not going to work. Really, if we want to say it will work, but it's but if you want to really, you can't look in the mirror and say you did it when you're leave behind radioactive shit. You know what I mean? You can't get away with that. So here we are. Again, definition of what power is in question. And just to throw out there intellectual, interesting thoughts, it's we all know and we've heard about 1,000 times that free power, free energy, this has been invented. And the guy who did this off of water, built an engine off of water, and this guy did this. So much it's okay, clearly there's a lot of inventions happening that are being stolen or taken away. And what the fuck? What WTF about that? Hello? I don't know if it should be illegal for General Electric to buy technology that can help humankind and then hide it. It should be illegal. Don't you think? It should be illegal. You can't hide shit like that. That's not cool. Who the hell are you? We get this cool mention from the aliens, and you take it in and you decide for us, fuck you. I think it was addressed to everyone, we all get to that person, who you are, with amongst each other. We've really not let, no one's watched that guard, So long story short, this is where the power structure is now. And this is where it all is. It's all these different conglomerations. The real power though is, of course, and this isn't someone in a tent in the 1800s, talking about the second coming. This is what I've experienced in my own self. We have we have other options in our reality than we've ever even used. We have other powers in our reality that we've never even tried. I'm very magical. I talk to people telepathically all day. I see through walls. I see through time, and that's normal. That's actually normal. And so, as far as power is concerned, we've been told power is over here. It's over here. And what's funny is I've always thought, what the people who are stealing the power, why didn't you just use the good power? Why not? You can have both. But the truth is, the good power means you go through your heart, you go through your intentions, you go through emotional relationships in the world, and you experience the ride altogether, and you're not greedy. That's the issue. So I think what we're realizing is humans are realizing, although it looks messy, what you're seeing is people seeing it. And you got to see the ugly part first. That's the thing. We have to see the ugly part first. And a lot of us were focused only on the ugly part. We couldn't get past it. A lot of people are like, do you know what they're doing to people? And kids are dying here and kids are dying there. I think that's horrible, of course. But I also know that I know in my heart, we choose everything. Everything is checked off on the list. You sign up for everything because heaven is boring. Heaven is really boring. And so we do these video games now and then called Earth. Let's just do a little break. I need to take a step. And then I want to hear from my team what's next. If you're watching us on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at SiriusJoytv. Please click like on this video, and if you don't mind, hit the bell button so you're notified, so we collectively defeat the algorithm overlords. The Sirius Joy nonlinear TV network is simulcasting right now on many media affiliates, including Instagram, X.com, and Facebook, just to name a few. Sirius Joy Academy is now offering gift certificates called Gifted Scholarships in 6-month, 9-month, and 1-year increments. This is the first time we've ever offered this. Sirius Joy is the most accurate astrology service in the world. And now you can stun your loved ones with a spiritual mirror that helps them every day. Visit SiriusJoy.academy to make your purchase. That's SiriusJoy.academy. Available now. Pisces, welcome back. Your mantra for the week is, I believe I have a unique relationship to God. I believe I have a unique relationship to God. And you do, but you don't necessarily believe. That's because you don't always believe in yourself when connecting to God. You don't come from a place of self-belief. You might come from a place of self-doubt or worry or guilting yourself for the past, but you're not 100% believing in yourself when you pray or connect to spirituality. And that has been corrupting situations for you for a long time. So you must now officially protect your belief in yourself before you connect in general to higher self. And that means you must protect belief in yourself whenever you are reaching for faith. You will not have faith in yourself if you not believe in yourself in the first place. And that's something that will be a constant now with Pluto in that space. This will lead later in the week to a new opinion or approach about spirituality, past lives, or a karmic situation. So you're going to change your mind about something that's very spiritually familiar to you. Now, with Neptune moving into Aries, it means that your spiritual mission is now self-worth and acting on raising your self-worth wherever you can. And that means that if it involves spirit or money, it should basically involve both. You want to find combinations of the two to where you are being faithful to your faith and at the same time being faithful to your wallet. And this comes as sort of a carry-on to you being committed now to a new character or new personality. You are reinventing yourself, and the first thing you must do to reinvent and follow through is to make self-worth a spiritual mission. Now, the full moon in Leo on Sunday at 13 degrees may cause a breakdown in your health, your lifestyle, a piece of equipment, something you use every day, part of your routines, or it could be literally a situation among peers at work. But there will be a breakdown. It could be your heart breaking down for reasons that it had held on too long or not had faith, or you're just not receiving the love that you're putting into the job, or you're not putting into the job what you want to receive. But either way, it makes you come to the determination to reinvent your faith in general. You're going to realize that you're not following what your heart believes when it comes to spirituality, and it's because you weren't following what your heart believes that caused the breakdown in day-to-day work. Overall, what this is about for Pisces is stepping into the higher faith. You've spent the first lifetime on Earth focusing on cleaning up your dark ages and clearing up all of your fears, your worries, and your personal guilt. Now that we're moving into lifetime 2, your mission is to get closer to God than any other sign. After all, how can you be the ruler of the 12th house if your 12th house is low dimensional? I don't know, but The 40 Days of Past Lives and Karma. Oh my goddess, that is one of the best programs that we ever channeled as a team so far. Goosebumps right now as I tell you, actually. Ultimately, knowing from astrology readings that there's a lot of clues about your past lives right in your natal chart. It's all over the place. It's a treasure map, really. And you have to kind of systematically look through it. And it just, this inspirational idea dawned on me one day, like, what if we look at those spots during Pisces when we're already subconscious, we're already sort of in the heavens, and guide through the step system, matching steps per day, and unlock these things. And people tell me they come back through this and they're like, oh my gosh, I really feel like I know my past lives. I know at least 3 of them. And it makes you feel so grounded. And I know how it seems like we're coming out of this weird belief structure, like, but it is true. But you have to look for yourself, because only you know your data, and you know what's real, and you know what you're feeling is real, and only you know. So it's basically a journaling exercise that lasts for 40 days. And for 40 days, we look at these things in our chart. We start with our childhood, where we have clear evidence of the patterns. And we brilliantly map that back to past life issues and situations. And that's important, because you have to know all the crap you're bringing to the table and all the things that you've gone through in order to understand the weight of your shoulders. You just don't understand the weight until you understand your past lives. Now, Scott and I actually are doing a fun thing too at the same time. For LOL, Scott and I decided we're going to look at 12. We're going to actually go back for 40 days and look at our past lives and our karma between the two of us. And when we've been living together in different lifetimes, and how we were aware. And sometimes, not always our best. So it's going to be fun also. And we'll be promoting that as well. Now, it's not yet available. I'm just telling you now to kind of plant the seeds. It will be starting 0 Pisces. So it's right around the corner. We'll be talking to you here in the next couple of days about how to purchase and be a part of it. When you're a part of this 40-day exercise, it's a community. By the way, we all are journaling every day. There's places to share comments and things like that. And we have lots of little tricks up our sleeve, which have to do with just pairing you with people who are like yourself. That's one of the great things about Sirius Joy. It's not just about learning, it's about finding others. And so we're going to be doing that too. But it's a great time. And if you haven't done any of your karmic work, well, circle on your calendar, 0 Pisces. That's when this all begins. And we go all the way to 9 Aries, which is the Grandmaster degree of Aries. And so you build a new Wego or inner amigo as you're kind of like launched. So it's a good time. And for those who are ascending, if you will, if you're trying to get to the next level in your life, well, we're here for that. And it's starting. I mean, the games will begin. We believe on a certain date, not to be discussed just yet, but we do believe there's a launch date of when this new game starts. And we do already think that today, already the new lifetime has begun. Thanks for the comments, everyone. Yay. We have, I guess, maybe 4 more questions. And it's been a great day of learning today on Monday, January 26th, 2026. 20 years after I started. 22-degree Cancer Sun. Look at this. My God. It's like, you'd think we were writing these backstage. Are we? 22-degree Cancer Sun. That's a Grandmaster Cancer who has the ability to diffuse a situation and also to kind of cloak themselves into where they want to go and not be seen but not be seen. 21-degree Gemini Moon is a master moon for many reasons, because 21 is a Sag. So a Sag-like Gemini moon is an incredibly well-balanced, educated moon as far as spirituality and from theory into understanding and learning. And a 17 Sagittarius rising is a person who is well-educated in past lives, who has already decided the philosophy they want to use in this lifetime. And they're basically, this lifetime is an experiment with a certain way of life, a certain philosophy, which has gone through its own evolutions, but still has its core question from the soul. So the question is, my Jupiter is 11 Taurus. Yay! It squares my Jupiter in my 5th house. That's cool. And the rising is again 17. So gotcha. So it's actually on the 3rd decan. That's great. What is my wisdom in this life? Sirius Joy. Yep. Your wisdom is Sirius Joy. And that's why I'm definitely branding here on purpose. But it's like, when I say Sirius Joy, I was referring to the 3rd decan in the 5th house. That's our brand. It's about that part of the 5th house is like where dreams come true, where it's great to be alive. It's just great to be alive. And that is the feeling you've come to live every day for the rest of your life. And it's an 11 Taurus. Now, that's part of the issue. You are an expert on integrity. So you are kind of like a person who will manifest dreams, but it's got to be perfect. And you have to learn that perfection is the process, not the outcome. So you have to perfect your process and let go of the outcome entirely. And just start spitballing it. Because it's not about how it ends up looking. It's about how you felt when you were doing it. And so you have to fine tune how you do it, how you feel it. But this is awesome. This means that you have not had your personal dreams ever come true. Like you saved your like dessert to the very last, and it's what your heart wants. It's very self-centered. Again, you're a difficult shopper. Like you are very picky about what you want. So it's like, I don't want to be the sales clerk. Like I'm this guy, because your heart. Be easy on yourself. Like there's what you don't know is that there's a lot of ways to feel what you hope to feel. So you hope to feel a certain way, but you're locked in. But the only way I'm going to feel that way is this way. No, the only way you've known so far in the past to feel that way is this way. Emotions are incredibly dynamic in the sense of we can go a whole billion ways to get to where you want to feel that you have no clue on. And I promise you this, so far, I never can guess how God does it. I have probably, I think, the most awareness out of anyone I think I know in the world to really like analyzing like how it's going to turn out. And it's never how I think, because it's not according to calculation. It's the magic of a spiritual will. And so it's very difficult to predict. Deep. So what is my wisdom in this life? Your wisdom is that you understand how to be in a state of joy. You understand how to stay in integrity and how to have a great time at the same time. You have this ability to be responsible and fucking cool at the same time. And so you are just a cool citizen. You're a really fucking cool citizen. And you can put out any kind of fires. You're kind of like a superhero that never puts on your cape. And you just go around the earth talking and telling stories. And, you're really a star. You're a celebrity. And I think you're meant to be a spiritual celebrity in the sense that, just wherever you go, you're the celebrity of the room. And people may or may not remember like who you were, how the hell they got there, but they'll be like, wow, remember that woman? Remember that person? Remember that person? She was interesting, that kind of thing. Memorable forever. So that's your wisdom, which is great. You need a job? Just kidding. Thanks for the question, though. We appreciate it. I'm so glad you're in the community because you're perfect for us. You're just perfect. Barbara, 28. You're Aquarius sun. Ooh, it's gonna be a long horoscope here, however. 25 Taurus moon. See all these master 25 net sevens today, and 20-degree Libra ascendant. Wow. Just wow. I'm proud of you guys. I'm sorry the masters coming out. Y'all, the masters are always the last ones on the field. And we're always like, motherfuckers, how long are they gonna be in hair and makeup? How long are they gonna be in there? Come on, get out of here. Where did you? Like whatever. But these are the Jedis, that who emotionally hold space for the planet and keep things cool. How do things keep cool? A lot of really talented people, human beings, know how to keep it cool everywhere. We're like keep it cool air conditioners. We emotionally can constantly cool the atmosphere. So it's like, oh, the earth is heating, but we're cooling everything's off. Everyone's all cool. It's all good. It's all good. And that's, I think, part of what the light worker does. With my 9 Taurus North node in the 7th house, I love that we can talk on this level. Is there a good chance that I will still meet and marry the love of my life? Well, wow. I'm glad you wrote this question because it's so, I see this all the time, this pattern. And it's a structure, it's a pattern, it's a karmic trend amongst the generations. And what it is that, see all those 20s, you're real good at the whole world, but you ain't good at you, right? Like that's it. You gave up getting good at you to be good at the world. And it's not a sacrifice, it's a strategy. So there's no such thing as sacrifice, guys, because you don't lose, you don't die, you don't go to hell, you don't get punished. None of that ever happens. Never, ever. We're in a video game right now. And I'm not saying go out and hurt your next person next to you, because guess what? You got out of the video game, you are humiliated. You did so horrible. Everyone was watching the screens when you're down there, and you were a fucking moron. Yes. So you like face off whatever that is. That's the shame that you get in heaven, is like your own embarrassment. You're like, geez, guys, like in one of those lifetimes, this guy got carried away. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that's the kind of thing. But my point is, you were always mastering other people. You're always mastering the world, and you didn't spend time developing your inner stuff. And so you're probably, got to where you were as a soul because you were given ways in. People let you come in at the top. And so you skipped all the bottom stuff of like, log cabin making and like cooking, cleaning, all the kind of basic stuff of life, because you were real interested in the top. And that's cool. It's a video game. You can do that. But what happens is once you're up at the top, you can't stay there. And you can't stay there because you don't have the fundamentals to stay there. You have the fundamentals to get there, but not stay there. So you're learning how to build staying power. And that's literally what you're learning how to build. The reason why, and this is not me making fun of you, the reason why you can't bring in the person is because you have not yet stayed with yourself. So you expect someone to stay with you when you haven't stayed with yourself. You won't draw in someone who stays with you if you don't stay with yourself. And that's the issue. You won't stay with yourself. You keep running off, and not getting married. And so that North Node at 9 Taurus says you've got to always act on in your mirage. You've always got to be the one to work to make yourself feel valuable. You have to be the one that makes yourself feel valuable. You have to be the one. No one will ever make you feel valuable. No one can ever. No one has the keys. No one. If you don't make yourself feel valuable, you will never be valuable. It just won't happen. But you're like, in the past life, someone made me feel valuable because you were inherited into $1 million, $1 billion family or something. So yes, it was given to you. But honestly, when you're given something like that, like great wealth as a soul, it means you can't handle the whole lesson at once. So you're taken off in pieces. And so the reality of the situation is, although you were great and held this power in the world, you didn't know how to use it. And that's most of the people who have power like that. People who've inherited power, they don't know how to use it. They're not sure what to do with it. Like, what do you do with this thing? Because they didn't earn it. And then saying they didn't earn in the sense of doing the work. Look, you have to earn it. You got to like petition to be a Rockefeller, I'm sure. You got to like work hard in heaven, like do a lot of politics. But the point is, you're learning how to bootstrap it to do it, make it happen. And yes, here's why. The very next lesson after learning how to be married to you is learning how to be married to someone else. And so as soon as you learn as soon as you learn, like you learn and like turn around, they'll be there. They'll be there as soon as you turn around. I promise you, because you're overdue. But you must be, I don't know what you're doing there, but maybe not the North House. You know what it is? That Aquarius sun, I'm not looking at your dynamics here. It's like your Taurus moon is unforgiving. That 25 Taurus moon, you have to forgive everything and forget everything. You have to give the whole world a clean slate, 100%, and carry no care in the world about the future, about the past. Like the past is dead to you. You cannot care at all. It did not build you. It's not who you are. You are who you are right now, right? So that's part of the issue, is that you're judging yourself too harshly. And your Aquarius sun is like meant to manifest. So if you poison that 2 in the 28 from your 25 moon, the moon is 2. You poison that 2 in the 28, everything you are doesn't manifest the way you want to. And look at 20 Libras that are broadcasted. So really the truth is you're just healing. You've been healing issues mostly around relationships themselves. And I don't know if you've been without anyone this whole time, or just not finding the one you want, but you could not have drawn in the one yet because you didn't understand your own stuff yet. You're just now finally healing over all of it. And we're talking about past life, healing over all of it. So be patient, again, enjoy who you are, enjoy you, enjoy why you're enjoyable and see why you're enjoyable. And then the two of you can enjoy you together. It's not just him enjoying you and you watching. I mean, seriously, what does he enjoy? I see so many female clients, honestly, like, I don't get what he sees in me, but it's like, exactly. You have to understand what he sees in you. Like, if you don't understand what they see in you, that's a problem, because it shows that you have to know you to enjoy. You won't enjoy the husband. You won't enjoy the person if you don't enjoy yourself, because it's through yourself you enjoy them. So if you have like very little joy with yourself and you try to enjoy them, you can't. You have to go through you. So I'm not saying you don't enjoy yourself. I'm saying whatever it is, crank it 10 notches, crank it about 10. All right. So Cheryl's a 15-degree Scorpio sun. That's a Libran Scorpio sun. Look at the 23s today. All the know-it-alls are here. I love you guys, but you are the know-it-alls. But because you know. But know-it-all sounds like you're snobby or something. You're not, but you do know it all. You ask a person like you, like a random question. 22 degrees moon Sagittarius, like, like in Rome, like, where are you supposed to go have dinner here? And this 22-degree moon will be like, well, like, 2,000 years of knowledge coming to the table right there. And 17 Scorpio Neptune. That's interesting with the Neptune, net 8 Neptune. So, yeah, I think we'll talk about that in a minute. I'll wait. I'm getting stuff on that already for you. What can I expect from the new chapter of Neptune in Aries in my later life? I'm 72. Well, I wonder if you're going to be, first of all, I don't know what you think about the future, but the first thing I'm picking up is like, you ain't going anytime soon. Like you're definitely, I think, one that has upped for like, let's stay as long as we can. And I think medicine is going to let you stay a long time. That's what I feel, just to be honest. So I guess what you need to know is you get a second lifetime. I think you get a second lifetime. Is what's going to happen here. And I think a lot of people do. And you never saw that coming down, did you, folks? We never saw that coming. A second lifetime in lifetime, going back to what you look like when you're 35, maybe, or I don't think it's unfeasible. I mean, the body restores itself every 7 years of every cell. So what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't be cussing like that, because sometimes people get a little shocked and gyrated by it. I just do it because sometimes I'm just so shocked myself. I have to let off a little steam of like how incredible some things are. But I do believe that you are stuck to some degree this is the hard part, 72. Okay. So At 72, you are sensing 7, all of your feelings of your whole lifetime. And at 9, you are to this year, take some action based on what you sense and your feelings. You are to act. Now, I think currently what happens in the 70s is like I see 70-year-old clients start to evaluate their life as in going. Like, so they look at the, 89 at that time is like going, like we're going. So preparing for that kind of thing. What's really happening in your 70s is that you're spiritually coming to your full wisdom. And then 80s, your authority. So you're not an authority of life until age 80. And I get the feeling that we were meant to live to 120 or later. So at age 80, you're an authority. So 120, that's another 40 years, right? Of being the authority. Because remember, you don't age. You stay 35. So you just decide, your body just kind of gets tired. I think from what I understand, from what I've heard psychically and also in books and stuff, is that, you get to around 115, 120, and you're just like, I need to go to sleep. I'm tired. It just gets to the point, it's like, I'm tired, guys. I'll reincarnate later in the game. I'm tired. And so you just can't do it anymore. You just lay down there and say goodbye. We love you. See you up there. It's nothing. It's a nothing burger, what we call death. So chapter Neptune and Aries, with it's interesting for you because as a Scorpio sun, Aries for you deals with your life in day to day. And so the day-to-day of life is going to completely change like you have no idea. You may be ascending in the sense of like mapping out those bridges to fifth dimension. You might be mapping it out. You might be here to go, okay, guys, I'll be the first ones in. As well you should be. You stand on the most wisdom. You have the most memory in this lifetime of everything. But the hard part is that you have to let that all go and you must unlearn what you have learned, to quote Master Yoda. So you ultimately have to let it all go. And I think that's your biggest fear at this age is like, I don't want to let it all go, all these memories. But I feel, folks, I just feel that, everything you lived up until 72 was to get you into your ultimate authority, 80. And the authority of 80 is when you are truly wise and you can truly make some wise decisions. And so part of the wisdom is, okay, that was useful, but let's flush it all out now. So our culture is, I've got to save. I got to hold. Remember her. Remember the part of you that was just learning how to get, in shape, because that's the scope I think we're going to be in. And by 80, it's like, okay, get your shit together. So, 80s will be, your 80s will be the new 30s. Where we are in our 30s now, that's what we'll be at 80. We'll be just ready to start the world, just ready to make a difference. And that many years of experience. So you've got, I think, tremendous, potential. If if that's your heart wants to do it, I think all the medicine, everything's gonna be there. I really feel it in my heart, and you should pioneer it. Do it. Document it. I myself, like, do it. It's funny. I'll tell you guys right now a little story and a quick one. And that's like when I went to we're at 123 in the store. Yeah, okay, got it. This is a good time for a story. So once upon a time, I went to see, of course, to see a reader. And at this time, I was married with Jennifer. She was my only wife to this lifetime so far, and she had gotten. It's funny because she actually would take me on girly places, like to go to the psychic fair or whatever. And I say girly, it's like stuff that she would do with her girlfriends. She was in Texas or something, but we were in California, kind of alone. And so she'd take me, and I've always had that, through life is like girls will like just decide, okay, we'll dress him up and take him. Like I was always like an accessory to girls. That was my whole life, which I loved actually because I was charming and they were pretty, and so I was enjoying it like crazy. But I had always had, this fear of dying. Like at that time around 22, 21, 22, I was like being really afraid that I was going to die. Now this is common with young men. A lot of times because we were soldiers in past lives, and this is around the age we died, around 19 or 20. So a lot of us have these horrible feelings of dying, and we go through it. And, I talk to parents about this with their sons, especially. And it's those who talk to me, I'll be like, they'll talk about how, he's having all this stuff, but there'll also be the parental conversation of like, but I don't know. I think he's just trying to stick around here and not have to earn a living, or something like that. It's like, I think it's a past life memory and he's freaking out because he died and he hasn't lived past 20 in a long time. And so this is tough, like kind of thing. And they're like, oh, it does like reframe it like, well, geez, it changes when you think about those things. But I was afraid of dying all the time. So I went to see, Jennifer takes us off to this yoga, and she goes into a trance. First time I've seen anyone channel live before, like channel spirit live. And the whole time her eyes are closed, the spirit, and she does this wonderful, discussion about the universe and how things work. And then she'll ask every person, she'll answer one question for every person. And I was like, okay. So, of course I'm nervous as hell. I'm like one guy out of like 400 women, which is always the case. And so it's coming up to me and all the girls like, like they want to know like, what's his question? Like, cause he's the only guy in the room and we would all look at each other for too long. And it's like, is that because I'm cute? It's because I'm the only guy there. And I'm scared to make, to be honest, I'm, and these women are like, opening up, bawling their eyes out, like telling the truth, like all this stuff. So I'm just like slowly coming to me, and I know, like, and then my wife is Jennifer. She's a Capricorn, and I'm like, oh God, I don't want to disappoint her, that kind of thing. But anyways, it comes to me, and I tell the mystic, I'm like, I have always been afraid of dying. Like, why am I afraid of dying? What is it? And she goes, well, first of all, you're gonna live to 89 or more if you want. And I was like, whoa, like that freaked me out because I'm like, what? You told him what age it was? Like, fuck, now I'm going to be obsessing about that age for the rest of my life. Like started thinking about that. I started thinking about all that. And I was kind of freaking out, but she goes on, the medium goes on, and she says, well, and the reason why you're afraid of dying is because when you were in your mother's womb, there was about 3 days where you stopped moving entirely and your mom panicked. She freaked out. And her energy is embodied in your cellular structure of her freaking out. And what you're really doing is you're reliving the memory of that moment of being trapped in the womb and freaking out. And once she said that, then I started to freak out because like, oh my God, I have had fear of like freaking out, like being stuck in something in the dark, freaking out, like not knowing how to get out of it. Like I have had that like many times. And so I was like, wow, that's crazy. My mind was thinking, because I had just, my mind was thinking that I was like being punished at the time, like something my subconscious felt guilty about something. I did something wrong. I was looking for what did I do wrong. They don't see that I did wrong. So my mind was like looking for me being a bad guy in that situation. Never anything of innocence like that. It's just mom freaked out. So of course I go home, I call my mom, like, mom, was there a time when, when you were pregnant with me that, you thought I was dead or something? And she's like, oh my God, it was the worst. She goes off in this huge like story. And, I seem to remember even my father talking about it too. It was like, your mom freaked out, it's like, whoa, I feel that freak out all the time. And it's just one example of how past lives are in our lives. So past lives, 40 days of past lives and karma. But I do believe I have a question here. Yes. Here we go. Thank you for indulging me. That's a good question. It's a good story. Oh, 29 degree Cancer. Ooh, 22 degree Moon in Scorpio and 1 degree Ascending Capricorn. You notice how you see like a lot of these masters, they have like one of their majors like in a low number? That's because they are staying in touch with their feet. They're looking down their feet. That's very good. When you're that tall, you look down your feet. As you look down at it, you're already high. You look down your feet. Not because you're in shame, because you're staying in touch with yourself. I have a lot in my 8th house. Uranus at 24 Leo, North Node at 27 Leo, Pluto at 6 Virgo, Mars at 14 Virgo. How does this impact me and how now and going forward? I'm 64 years old. So 64, by the way, is when you are finally an adult, not an authority, an adult. So from my understanding, age 30 is when you're done with your past life memories. Age 60 is when you're adult. Age 90 is when you're authority in action. And we're supposed to live that long. So how will this impact me? So Uranus is 24 Leo. Well, you're a person that has got to always, you have to draw the line by where you feel you belong next. So every line is where you feel you belong next. You are always leaving one thing behind and always going to something new. If you're not always leaving something behind and going to something new, you are off track. Because you're meant to grow a lot and see a lot in one lifetime. You're meant to experience a lot of things that most people of your, equal lifetime story would not experience. You're like 3 lifetimes in one, really. And North Node Leo 27 means it's because you have a mission of the heart. Your heart wants to do something for the world. Your heart wants to really bad. And you have to. It's who you are. You die inside if you don't. Pluto at 6 Virgo says, but you never really pay attention to the relationship to you. So you're like this amazing soldier and you never thought about talking to your own body and seeing if your body could help out. Or like you never thought about like making yourself get along with yourself better would make everything work more in the world. And so you didn't realize that, staying in check with you is like number one. You in the mirror is like number one. Yes, you can save the world, but you forgot who you were. So that's no fun. Because and the award goes to Christopher Witecki. Who's Christopher Witecki? You don't remember who you are. You just won the world. Like, that's what it is. Like you don't know you're gonna get there. You're not gonna know who you are. So Mars at 14 Virgo says, your ego has a tendency to make up your mind for you, and you got to watch that. Your ego oversteps authority a lot in yourself, and it's whenever you get When you get pissed off that something doesn't belong, okay, when you go, that doesn't belong. This in the world does not belong. That's your anger. This does not belong here. What you're really saying is, I do not belong here with me. I don't belong here with me. I don't belong in this space. This is not what I want to be in. And it's like, okay, well then quit blaming the illusion, right? You have to look inside your heart. If you don't want that, then stop doing it. So your ego is like caught on blaming others a little bit, I think, like, or could have been. You maybe are over it now. I know, like, honestly, I never know where people are. Really. But, and so if you're just going to go, fuck that, what does my heart want? Like, what do I want? And just go for what you want. You'll get it. That's simple. So 64, I think you're gonna have a good time. It's time to have a great time, actually, to answer this question. You're also 29-degree sun in Cancer. So you're a person who, you're going to push the envelope. You're going to experience something that no man or woman has experienced before ever. And you're going to do it like first continental, transatlantic flight, all these firsts that we've gone through in our lifetimes. You're the first of something, and you're first of something that we'll all be like, how the fuck did he do that? Like, we won't know how you did it, and you're pushing the envelope of Cancer. You're pushing the envelope of emotional awareness. You're pushing the envelope of emotional intelligence. You're pushing the envelope of emotional can-do. And that's exactly what has to happen if we're going to live in the age of Aquarius, because to live in the age of Aquarius means you've got to be in touch with your feelings, because your feelings are what feels the vibration. So thank you, Ethan. That's a great question. Thank you. All right, friends, I think it's time to wrap up. I'm excited, though, because we have a great week ahead. If you haven't been a part of Sirius Joy daily, I recommend you do. SiriusJoy.com. I do daily pep talks. They are amazing. They're like little musicals. Man, I've had some troubles launching them, so I'm sorry to my clients about how choppy the beginning is, because I'm pushing it hard. But I think we are all systems a go. Things are going to be great. And what we're doing is we're just kind of making your life story a bit more musical, a bit more cinematic, a bit more entertaining, I think, too. Sit back and enjoy the ride, so to speak, is what I want to say. And I'm grateful for everyone. We'll be back here tomorrow. We stream live every day from Sunday to Thursday, which is going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, on everywhere Sirius Joy is broadcasting. We are all part of the joy here at Sirius Joy. And we're just going to launch here saying, come on, plan on coming to the mothership. We're going to be coming to the mothership, going to our mother planet, and having new features coming around the corner. So don't forget to pack your bags. Hey, YouTube, or wherever you watch. We'll see you next time, folks. I love you.